दिया, ठीक है। तो जैसे ही आप हॉर्न की भी साउंड सुने और ट्रेन की भी साउंड, तो दैट इज दिस इंटेंसिटी लेवल। तो उस समय अचानक से साउंड की इंटेंसिटी बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है, ठीक है ना। या एक दूसरा एग्जांपल देखो कि आप किसी काम में बिजी हो और जस्ट जो है कोई आया और एक बम फोड़ दिया, मतलब पटाखा जो है फोड़ दिया, ठीक है ना। तो उस समय क्या होता है कि आपका दिमाग कहीं और बिजी है और अचानक से पटाखा फूटा, तो क्या होता है कि उस समय जो आपके ईयर के मेम्ब्रेन्स होते हैं वो स्टैटिक कंडीशन में होते हैं एक्चुअली, और उसी समय मेम्ब्रेन कई बार फट जाता है या हियरिंग लॉस हो जाता है। तो बेसिकली दैट इज द इंटेंसिटी स्केल। इंटेंसिटी स्केल का ही एक दूसरा पार्ट है पिच। पिच जो है जितना ज्यादा रहेगा आवाज उतना दूर तक तो नहीं जाएगा लेकिन सुनने में अच्छा लगेगा, ठीक ना। पिच जैसे हम लोग देखते हैं ना, लड़कियों का आवाज जो है उनकी पिच ज्यादा होती है, ठीक है। तो बेसिकली दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ इंटेंसिटी स्केल ऑफ द साउंड। Another part is the relationship between sound pressure level, sound power level, and sound intensity scale. Roughly, all three are same. All the three are same, but intensity is per unit square. Per unit square या मीटर स्क्वायर या एरिया, जो भी पर यूनिट एरिया, कितने एरिया में कितना साउंड जनरेट हो रहा है। साउंड पावर दैट मीन्स की एबिलिटी टू फ्लो दी वेव इज कॉल्ड साउंड पावर। एबिलिटी टू, जैसे एक आदमी बहुत जोर से जो है बोलता है तो उसकी आवाज बहुत जल्दी कहीं पहुंच जाती है, किसी की धीरे पहुंचती है। कितना आपने जो है पावर लगा करके आप बोले। दूसरा एक पार्ट आता है साउंड प्रेशर, साउंड pressure. It is again force applied on the wave. Sound wave is called basically sound pressure. So basically, often the measurement unit is omitted during discussion, and only the term decibel is used in all the three parts. डेसिबल हम लोग यूज करते हैं एज ए स्केल, इंटेंसिटी स्केल ऑफ द साउंड, है ना। तो these are the examples, these are the concept, how do we use the sound pressure and sound intensity. तो in case of acoustic free field जहाँ पर कोई भी हल्ला गुल्ला नहीं है, the sound intensity is directly related to the sound pressure by the velocity, that means की pressure into velocity is called sound intensity। कितना प्रेशर लगा करके आपने बोले, जैसे पानी का प्रेशर है तो आप देखेंगे कि एक होता है कि नॉर्मल पानी गिर रहा है और एक होता है कि प्रेशर के साथ पानी गिर रहा है, पानी उतना ही होता है। फर्क किस चीज का होता है? फर्क होता है नोजल का, है ना। इफ देयर इज नोजल then there will have the velocity and water go far away, ज्यादा दूर तक जाएगा। Particle velocity is the speed of which the air molecules vibrate back and forth while transmitting a sound. Particle velocity is a vector quantity, while sound pressure is only a scalar amplitude. The result is that sound intensity is a vector quantity. At any given location around a sound source, either the sound intensity or sound pressure can be measured. Sound pressure and sound intensity. The sound intensity shows both amplitude and direction. The sound pressure shows only amplitude with color. Amplitude, the same looking at the color distribution. अब ये color distribution यहाँ पर दिखाया है कि sound intensity and sound pressure जो है कैसे काम करता है, and this is the measuring scale, ठीक है, of the sound intensity and sound pressure on the decibel scales. नाउ अभी हम लोगों ने देखा साउंड इंटेंसिटी एंड साउंड प्रेशर के बीच रिलेशनशिप। नाउ द रिलेशन बिटवीन साउंड इंटेंसिटी एंड साउंड पावर। Basically, it is very much easy to convert from sound intensity to sound power. If the area over which the measurement was performed is known as sound intensity and it is expressed in watts per meter square. Sound power is expressed in watts. Multiply the sound intensity value by the area covered by the measurement to calculate sound power. In an acoustic free field, the sound intensity at a specific distance from a sound emitting object can be calculated. If the sound power of the object is known, take a printer that has a sound power of 0.0. जब भी आप प्रिंट कभी निकलते हुए देखे होंगे तो प्रिंटर एक आवाज करता है जिसकी साउंड लगभग 0.02 वाट होती है. ठीक है, so it is just an example and with that example you can imagine where what power of sound is produced. To get again sound intensity, divide the sound power by the area that you will get the sound intensity. Hemisphere area is this one 25 meter square 2 meter radius square. This is the sound intensity in that area, and finally using the equation intense area, that means the area into sound intensity, that will come around this one. The reference value of intensity is 10 to the power minus 12 watt per meter square, as you can see here the figure. The sound pressure, sound power and sound intensity are acoustic quantities that can be expressed in decibels. They describe different aspects of sound, and the decibels for each represent different measurement quantities. Sound pressure indicates the amplitude level of sound at a specific location in space, and it is a scalar quantity. The level is dependent on the location and distance the sound is absorbed relative to a sound source. Sound pressure is measured in Pascal. The rate at which sound is emitted from an object, independent of location or distance that the sound is observed. Sound power measurements are often specified in the noise regulation of many different kinds of products from construction equipment to computer printers. Sound power is measured in watts. Sound intensity. Sound intensity is sound power per unit area. It indicates the flow of sound through a specific area, and sound intensity is measured in watt per meter square. Sound spectra and octave analysis. Octave band analysis. Basically, octave analysis is used in noise control, hearing protection, and sometimes in environmental noise pollution. Basically, the common octave frequency bands are 31 Hz and it varies up to 16 kilohertz, and their composition is made up of the lower band limit, central frequency and upper band limit. That is the this one is the there will have the average minimum value, average upper value, and this is the maximum value. So these are the conditions. These are the line spectrum, not harmonic, a broadband noise, combination of harmonic and broadband. Again, साउंड स्पेक्ट्रा एंड ऑक्टेव बैंड एनालिसिस. तो हमने जो आपको बताया था बेसिकली बैंड जो हम लोग डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ डीजे बैंड एंड ऑल दो जो सुनते हैं, दैट इज आल्सो ए काइंड ऑफ साउंड स्पेक्ट्रा एंड ऑक्टेव बैंड. म्यूजिकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट, speech scientists, these are the acousticians who study about the sound wave and sound phenomena. Okay, and in this case only, scientists work far better for this thing. Medical acoustics, it is also used. Architectural acoustics, concerts halls, vibration. Yeah, these are the parts where what intensity level uh, can be done, what kind of frequency can be generated, and how can we describe the frequency content of a sound. How do we describe the frequency level? The repetition rate in cycle per second, and that is the only hertz. And by determining the sound pressure level within an octave frequency band or subdivision of an octave band, such as one-third octave band, one-sixth octave band. These are the addition subtraction level. These are the that you can. Figures are self-explanatory. See how the sound level is differ for a human being after noise pollution, after and before the treatment, and how the noise reduction is uh, having impact on our health. These are the weighting networks. Since a weighting network corresponds to the tendency of the ear to discriminate against low frequency sound, it is often employed in decibel measurements of community noise, जहाँ पर भीड़ वगैरह होती है. और community noise is not only that one, but also in case of musical concert or musical instruments and many more things, you will see a number of instruments are working together, but each instruments play a different role in addition of all musical song or whatever you are using. Basically, each instrument produce different frequency. So you can easily identify, is it dholak or is it piano, is it harmonium, is it bansuri, uh, flute, whatever be the musical instruments that you can identify. The human ear basically respond more to a frequency between 500 hertz to 8 kilohertz. Below 500 and above 8 kilohertz, it creates problem to identify particular instrument. And between this, it is less sensitive to very low pitch or high pitch noise. The frequency weightings used in sound level meters are often related to the response of the human ear to ensure that the meter is measuring pretty much what you actually hear. It is extremely important that sound level measurements are made using the correct frequency weighting. Usually, A weighting, for example, measuring a tonal noise of around 31 Hz would result in 40 decibel error if using C weighting instead of A weighting. A weighting is nothing, just it is a common weighting that is used in noise measurement. A weighting, like the human ear, this effectively cuts off the lower and higher frequencies that the average person cannot hear. Defined in the sound level meter standard, a graph of the frequency response can be seen to the right. A weighted measurements are expressed as decibel scale. C weighting, the response of the human ear varies with the sound level basically, and at higher level 100 decibel it starts from 80 decibel, and above 100 the ear responses is flatter. As you can see here in graph, this is the C weighting, a red color, and here Z weighting, you can see this is the part of Z weighting that is going totally flat. C weighting is also available on many sound level meters. C weighting is usually used for peak measurements and also in some entertainment noise measurements, where the transmission of bass noise can be a problem. C weighted measurements are expressed as dBc or dB. Z weighting. Z weighting is a flat frequency response basically, and this response replaces the older linear or unweighted responses, as this did not define the frequency range over which the meter would be linear. Weighted measurements are expressed as dBz. This is the equivalent sound level, equivalent continuous sound pressure level of this LEQ, LAEQ is the constant noise level, and that would result in the same total sound energy being produced over a given period. Is a fundamental measurement parameter designed to represent a varying sound source over a given time as a single number. LEQ is the preferred method to describe sound levels that vary over time, resulting in a single decibel value which takes into account the total sound energy over the period of time of interest. LEQ, equivalent continuous sound level. Sound levels often fluctuate over a wide range with time. LAEQ, it is a common practice to measure noise level using the A weighting setting built into all sound level meters, in which case the term is properly known as LAEQ, and the results sound says so. For example, that you can see here. These are few of the auditory effect of noise. Basically, too much noise affect have very permanent hearing loss and other impact on our physical body, mental level, and psychological effect. Physically, it disturb your sleeping phenomena. Sleeping body body will pain. You will feel tired, loss of appetite. You will be senseless in case of too much noise, and functional difficulties due to tinnitus, tinnitus, that is the psychological word. Negative effect on hearing, concentration difficulty. You will not be able to concentrate yourself, and cognitive difficulties, ability to ignore the things. Tinnitus related distress, annoyance, worry, irritable, distress, sensation, fear, frustration. All these come, all these comes due to the noise problem itself, and mood problems, anxiety, depression symptoms, lack of joy, anger, suicidal thoughts, loss of peace, irrational beliefs, negative impact on social life, negative impact on work activity, negative impact on individual activity, difficulties. These are the uh, problem related and negative impact of noise on our body. That means interference with communication, impaired task performance, negative social behavior, advanced reactions, hearing impairment, sleep disturbances, cardiovascular disease. These are the disturbances and these are the auditory effect of the noise that you can understand and it is self-explanatory. This is the basically hazardous noise which having hazardous effect on your body. Many of the times sound that the human ear must unplease and disrupt in concentration may annoy and may have the hazardous effect on the health and it even create chronic health problem itself. And normal sound level is 85 decibel. Up to this, it is you can say uh, it is tolerable, and beyond that, the 85 decibel, it creates the problem. And to give you an idea what exactly 85 decibel is, the rustling of leaves is typically 10 decibel. Rustling of leaves, that means uh, air is blowing and the leaves of any tree, it just rustles. In normal conversation, suppose I am talking with you and it is up to 50 to 60 decibels, not more than that. A chainsaw or drill machine produces 110 decibels while a jet engine is near the top of end of the scale producing about 140 decibel of sound. So whenever you go beyond 80 decibels, it starts creating the problem in your body. Okay, and now eliminating noise hazardous, how you can remove the noise. These are some particular things you cannot do. You cannot 100% eliminate the sound, but up to some extent you can reduce. And machine maintenance, that is the first and foremost priority. If you are using good kind of material and the machines and whatever it is, bike, train, car, everything that you have maintained properly, then it will not create too much noise. But uh, if you are using your bike without having silencer, then you must will have here what kind of noise it produces. Enclose or isolate the noise and properly use PPE kit and limit shifts. Workers work 8 hours and many of the times what do we see? We change the shift or we must have to leave the routine work. And the last one is the use the dampers, damping ability. Dampers basically balance the noise. It will reduce the vibration. These are the decimal hearing conservation and damage risk criteria. These are the proposing damage risk criteria for any biological hazard. Very difficult and complex problem, and certain arbitrary assumptions and compromises must be agreed upon and accepted before almost any biological damage risk criteria can be proposed. And setting damage risk criteria for noise exposure is settled by a straightforward medical dictum. Many other disciplines outside of biology are involved in noise control itself. Value judgment must be made. Administrative bodies must be called upon for opinions and help. Before proposing a damage risk criteria for noise induced hearing loss, we must define certain often used, but ill-defined terms not be used. And these are the daily noise levels, how much noise your body can take. Beyond that, it will create the problem. And again, I'm telling you, 80 decibel sound maximum limit is 24 minutes up to 80 level. So that is the criteria of the noise dose level. And in tomorrow class, not today, we will study the noise source isolation and control. How can we control the sound and how we can reduce the noise disturbance. Okay, so these are the major sources. You will have seen the loudspeaker, automobiles, at religious functions. Again, these are the mechanical noise, road noise, industrial gas, gas solution for noise pollution that we will all study in tomorrow class, not today. And most probably tomorrow we will finish this topic event.